Time to re-up YouTube. We're here to pick up where we left off on my season preview at number 27. If you missed the last video where I talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder, make sure you go and check it out. But today we are going to switch gears and talk about the Indiana Pacers, who just like the Thunder, just like the Pacers, the Spurs, they're going to be vying for that first overall pick, or at least they should, because their team doesn't look good whatsoever. The Pacers are an organization that has lived in mediocrity over recent history, especially since the Paul George era has come to an end. But finally last season they decided to push the reset button and understood that mediocrity is not the way, as they moved on from Domantas Sabonis, getting Tyrese Haliburton, the young guard with promise from the Sacramento Kings, in return. And with some pieces on this roster that they can move for assets, it's going to be very interesting to see what the Pacers look like at the end of the season. But before we do a deep dive into Tyrese Haliburton and the Indiana Pacers, make sure you guys drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and press that bell for post notifications. But without further ado, let's get back to the subject of this video, the Indiana Pacers. Now, like I said earlier, this is a team that lived in mediocrity for years, just trying to be a consistent playoff team and nothing more. They practically lived to be the 15th best team in every single statistical category. They were always losing in the first round. They were getting the 15th overall pick in the draft, so they weren't getting any crazy lottery picks. And it doesn't matter who their star was, whether it was Domantas Sabonis, Victor Oladipo, or Paul George. And I understand that injuries definitely got in the way of that, but a lot of the players that they built around were injury prone, so that was to be expected. But thankfully this past year they finally understood that just being a mediocre team doesn't get you far at all. The worst place to be is too good to tank and too bad to compete. And with the pieces that they have on this roster, it's going to be really weird to see what they do, because I'm predicting they're going to move a lot of their best players anyways for more assets to further their rebuild. Buddy Hield is one of the better three-point shooters in the league, and though he was actually really good offensively in the games he played for them at the end of the year last year when he was traded to the team, let's be honest though, for a guy that's approaching 30 years old at the end of next season, he doesn't need to be on this roster whatsoever, especially considering that defensively he's one of the worst guards in the league. So naturally, of course, it makes sense why he's linked to the Los Angeles Lakers of all teams. And just like his other teammate Miles Turner, Turner is one of the better shot blockers in the NBA, a solid rim protector, a okay floor spacer. I wouldn't call him a real stretch five, but he can knock down a three or two. But because he's injury prone and lacks a real presence on the boards, it makes sense why they haven't found a real suitor for him. Mind you, this guy also said he believes that the Pacers are holding him back. Bro, you're just not that guy. Let's call a spade a spade. Realistically speaking, he is a black Brook Lopez, and I'm being generous with that comparison. Brook Lopez actually can create a little bit for himself in the post with his moves that he still has from his all-star days left in him. But aside from Buddy Hield and Miles Turner that might be Lakers by the end of the season, I'm focused on some of the young players on this roster for the rest of this video, because I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do next year. I'm really high on Bennedict Mathurin. I think he's going to have a really productive offensive season with Tyrese Haliburton. He was a great three-point shooter at Arizona in his sophomore year, and if he can translate some shot creation into that, I definitely think he could become one of the better offensive players at his position. Now on the defensive side of the ball is where there are some concerns, especially considering he's playing with Tyrese Haliburton, who's not known for his defense also. But if he can just show a little bit more effort and not ball watch, which those are things that he can definitely fix, then I think he could become a positive on that side of the ball sooner rather than later. Another guy that I'm interested in seeing play is Jalen Smith, who was traded from the Suns to the Pacers last year at the deadline. For those who don't know, Jalen Smith was taken with the 10th overall pick in the draft a couple of years ago by the Suns, even though they already had DeAndre Ayton at the time. The idea, I guess, was to run a Twin Towers, but it never really panned out. And with his minutes being inconsistent as hell, it was obvious that moving him was the right option. As in the 22 games that he played as an Indiana Pacer last year, he averaged 13 points a game, nearly 8 rebounds and a block, shooting 53% from the field, 37% from three on nearly 4 attempts a game, and 76% at the free throw line, which would accumulate to a true shooting percentage of nearly 63%. And mind you, he did that in less than 25 minutes a game. To understand his offensive impact, when he was on the court for them, they had an offensive rating of 117.3, and when he was off, it was a 112.4. Still a good offense with and without him on the court statistically, but obviously they were noticeably better with him. And considering that he's 22 years old and they just signed him to a 3-year, $15 million deal, I truly believe it is a steal. And with Miles Turner looking like he's on his way out, that's just more opportunity for Jalen Smith going forward. If he can use his size and length, standing at 6'2" with a 7'2" wingspan, to become a good shot blocker and rim protector in this league while being a legit stretch big, I see all-star all over his future. And similar to Jalen Smith when it comes to potential, that brings me to Chris Duarte. Duarte got off to a really hot start to begin the season, and even though he cooled down towards the end of it, I still think he showed more than enough potential to become one of the better wings in this league. Now, though defensively, I don't think he'll ever become an elite defender by any means, offensively, I think that's where the true potential really lies with Duarte. He showed some potential when it comes to his on-ball creation earlier on in the season, and we all know he's a very capable off-ball player, whether it's slashing, cutting, or just spotting up. It's very clear that he doesn't need to dominate the ball in order to be effective, which is going to be very useful on this team. He's a very good floor spacer, shooting 37% from 3 on nearly 5 attempts a game last season, and if he can keep up a level of growth offensively while just improving defensively as well, then he could be the perfect fit on a team like this surrounded with Tyrese Haliburton. My only fear with him is that he's already 25 years old due to him playing so long in college, so yeah, I don't know how much better he's going to get from here. But I know one guy that is going to get better, and I'm expecting him to have a breakout season next year. That is Tyrese Haliburton. You've heard me mention him a couple of times in this video, and if you can't already tell, I'm super high on my man Tyrese. I don't know why the Kings let him go, but it is what it is, bruh. Tyrese is one of the better passers in the NBA already. Amazing vision on the perimeter, can find guys in the pick and roll, the half court with skip passes as a lob threat. No matter where you are on the court, if you're open, Tyrese is going to find you. And even though he's got a wonky 3-point shot, he's still one of the better shooters in the league, as throughout his career on over 5 attempts a game, he's shooting 41% from 3. With the Pacers last year after he got traded, he averaged nearly 18 points a game and 10 assists, along with 2 steals on 50% shooting from the field, nearly 42% from 3 on over 5 attempts a game, and 85% at the free throw line, which accumulates to a true shooting percentage of 63%. Now, I won't lie, even though I love so many things about Tyrese Haliburton, there are some problems and holes in his game that he does need a fix. For starters, even though that jump shot is working from 3, I don't know how effective it's going to be as far as him getting to the mid-range area. I would like to see him also improve at getting rim pressure. Collapse in the paint would do true wonders for his playmaking ability, but the biggest weakness honestly is his lack of defense. Outside of getting steals, which is important to an extent, he can get in the passing lanes and all of that, he's still a really bad defender, and a lot of it is laziness, so I would like to see him tighten up on that side of the ball more than any of these other flaws. And I'm not asking him to become an elite point of attack defender, especially in a lot of one-on-one situations, because that's probably never going to happen, but it's not too much to ask for a guy that's 6'5" with a near 6'8" wingspan to be a positive team defender, especially in a league where you have Steph Curry doing it at 6'3" in Golden State. And I understand that Tyrese doesn't have his own Draymond Green next to him, but a little bit more effort would be nice. Nonetheless though, I do believe that Tyrese is a lead candidate for the most improved player of the year. I'm not saying he's going to win it next season because they're going to be pretty trash, so I'm sure you're going to hear the narrative of empty stats surrounding him all season, but I could genuinely see him going out there and averaging 20 and 10 next year. I mean, he almost did it this past year with the Pacers, averaging 18 and 10 with them in the games that he played after the trade. And with Tyrese locking down their point guard position, you have Jalen Smith as well, Chris Duarte. They are in prime position to get a great player in this upcoming loaded draft class, because if they land that #1 pick, my goodness, it's going to be deadly who they get, whether it's Wemby, Scoot, my God, take your pick. They gonna be cold as fuck. And when you couple that with the assets they're gonna get from the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner inevitable trade, it's only gonna look brighter for this team's future. But that concludes this video, you guys. Make sure you comment your opinions down below. I would love to know what you guys think about the Indiana Pacers future, especially this upcoming season. Make sure you follow me on social media. Those links are in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. You guys stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.